Blood. It was everywhere on her hands, soaking into the dirt, clinging to the sleeves of her uniform. Reina Vasquez, the team's medic, stood frozen for a heartbeat as chaos roared all around her. Her brothers in arms were falling fast, there, groans mixing with the relentless thunder of gunfire. She tried to keep up, racing from one wounded SEAL to the next, but there were too many. Then, in the middle of the carnage, the sharp whistle of a bullet sliced through the air, and another man crumpled right in front of her. Her heart lurched. The wounded SEAL commander, pale and barely conscious, struggled to lift his head. With trembling hands, he pressed his Barrett rifle into hers. "Take my gun," he rasped, his voice barely audible over the din. "Drop that sniper." Her breath caught. What? She was the medic. She wasn't supposed to. No, she had to. She looked back, eyes wide, but the plea in his expression left no room for refusal. Somewhere deep inside, a different part of her, the warrior she used to be, stirred awake. If she didn't act, the whole team would be slaughtered. And so in that moment, Reina Vasquez, 30 years old, long brown hair tied neatly back, sharp eyes, always calm under pressure, decided to do what no one thought she could. Take the shot, save the team. People always forgot she'd once been more than Doc. Beneath the standard medic gear was a soldier who'd completed sniper school at the top of her class, who'd served 2 tours as a designated marksman before trading a rifle for medical training. But her records were classified, locked away, and she never felt the need to prove herself, at least not with words. Her team meant well when they told her to stay back during missions. They thought they were protecting her, but it felt like dismissal. What they didn't know was that in the quiet hours before anyone else arrived, she was at the range, keeping her skills razor sharp. Because one day, she knew they might need more than bandages and morphine. That day came in the Bandages Hills. The SEALs were surrounded, the situation unraveling fast. Snipers rained death from the high ground, each shot dropping another man. Her instincts screamed, this isn't just about saving the wounded anymore. This is about stopping the killing. She crouched beside a gravely injured teammate, her hands working automatically to stop the bleeding. But her mind was calculating ranges, angles, wind drift. The wounds told her everything. These weren't just random shots. The enemy was using high-powered rifles, likely .50 caliber, coordinated to create deadly crossfire. They had at least 3 shooters up there. Sergeant Martinez confirmed over the radio, their voices tight with urgency. The SEALs were pinned down, unable to move without drawing fire. And then her breaking point. Another man dropped before her. Eyes and something inside snapped. She wasn't just a medic anymore. She was the only one who could end this. Later, one of the soldiers would tell me that day she became a legend. Not just because she saved lives with medicine, but because she picked up that rifle and saved all of us with a single act of courage we never saw coming. They were out there hidden on the ridgeline, 800 maybe 1,000 meters away. Deadly silhouettes. Behind their rifles. The SEAL commander called for a retreat, but how could they move? Every path was a killing zone. It was hopeless, or was it? Reina's eyes darted to the ground, and there it was, the Barrett .50 caliber sniper rifle lying beside the wounded commander. That weapon wasn't just a tool to her. It was an old friend. She knew its weight, its recoil, its soul. She'd qualified expert with this exact model years ago, but no one here knew that. The feel of it, the kick, the arc of a bullet over long distances, all of it was still etched into her muscle memory. This was the moment. No more hesitation. She stepped forward, reached down, and took the Barrett from the commander. His eyes, despite the pain, burned with trust. "Take my gun and drop that sniper," he rasped. Around them, Heads turned in disbelief. Or the medic? But Raina's answer wasn't in words. It was in the way she settled in behind the rifle. And something remarkable happened. Her hands didn't tremble. Her pulse didn't spike. In the middle of hell, she felt the familiar calm of the hunt. Private Chun crouched beside her. Hissed. "Doc, what are you doing? You don't know how to use that thing." But Raina was already at work, adjusting the scope, reading the wind, calculating bullet drop. These weren't the clumsy moves of someone desperate. These were the measured, deliberate motions of a master. Through the scope, the enemy's hide came into view, well camouflaged, but not enough to fool her. A faint glint of sunlight, a shadow just a shade too deep. That was all she needed. 150 meters, she murmured almost to herself. Cross a wind 5 meters an hour from the west. The commander, bleeding but watching, managed to ask, "How do you know about wind compensation?" Without looking away, she replied, "Because, Commander, there are things about me that didn't make it into my personnel file." The team was realizing this wasn't luck. This wasn't panic. This was pure trained confidence. Her first shot cracked. Through the air. Perfect. The sniper's rifle fell silent. No pause, no celebration. Raina was already on the next. Acquiring second shooter, she said calmly over the radio. The bolt action cycled smoothly, a spent casing spinning away. "Sergeant." Martinez muttered into comms. "Command, what aren't you telling us about our medic?" The second shot. Another perfect kill. Then movement caught her eye. Third shooter moving 200 meters northwest of his last position, she reported, tracking him with precision. This was the hardest shot yet. A moving target at max range, fully aware. He was being hunted. But Raina's breathing was steady, her aim unshaken. 1,200 meters. Moving left to right, she led the target, her timing exact. The shot broke, and the third rifle went silent forever. In that moment, every SEAL understood Raina Vasquez wasn't just a medic. She was a warrior who had chosen humility over glory. Until the day came when only her courage and skill could save them all. The radio suddenly crackled, slicing through the aftermath of battle. "Phoenix 6, we're seeing thermal signatures going dark on the Regal line. What's your status?" Headquarters sounded urgent, but the SEAL commander's voice was steady as he keyed. "The mic. Our medic just eliminated 3 enemy snipers with precision shots, all at over 1,000 meters. I need to know who she really is." A silence followed, heavy, loaded, until the reply came. "Classified Phoenix 6. But you should know. Staff Sergeant Vasquez was the top graduate of Army Sniper School, class of 2018. 2 tours as a designated. Marksman 47 confirmed kills. She transferred to medical after her unit disbanded. It hit the team like a thunderclap. Their quiet, humble medic, Raina, wasn't just competent. She was one of the deadliest snipers the military had ever produced. Private Chun's voice cracked with shock. "Why didn't you tell us?" She was already breaking down the Barrett. Every motion. Crisp and efficient, her tone calm. "Because you needed a medic, not another shooter. My job was to keep you alive, not to impress you." Sergeant Martinez shook his head in disbelief. "All those times we protected you, told you to stay back, you were doing your job." Recut in gently, her voice steady but warm. "And I was doing mine. Having other skills didn't make your protection any less meaningful." The commander, wincing as he tried to sit up, stared at her. 47 confirmed kills. How did we not know? She didn't hesitate, pressing a fresh dressing to his wound. Because the best soldiers aren't the ones who brag. They're the ones who do whatever needs to be done, whether it's stopping bleeding or stopping bullets. In that moment, the way her team saw her shifted forever. No longer was she the glass medic who had to be shielded. She was a warrior they could trust with their lives because she already had. As they prepared for extraction, their movements around her changed. No more condescending protectiveness. Only the quiet respect of soldiers who had seen her in action. The commander's voice rang out over the radio. "From now on, Staff Sergeant Vasquez is our team medic and designated marksman. Anyone with a problem can take it up with me." But Reyna wasn't basking in titles or accolades. She was already kneeling aside another wounded SEAL, her focus unwavering. To her, the rifle was just another instrument in her medical kit, a tool to keep her people breathing. The mission had never been about glory. It had always been about bringing everyone home. By the time the helicopter lifted off, the shift in the team was undeniable. They placed her at the perimeter with the other shooters, not in the center to be guarded. She belonged there, and they all knew it. Now, back at base, the story spread like wildfire. The medic who saved her entire team with both her hands and her aim. It became legend, one that changed more than just opinions. Across the military, medics began earning respect as multi-skilled assets, not fragile non-combatants. Female service members heard the story and felt the spark. Training in roles they'd once been told weren't for them. Commanders began rethinking the lines between combat and support, realizing the best soldiers were those who could adapt to anything. But perhaps the most profound change was in the SEAL team itself. They hadn't just gained a deeper respect for their medic. They had gained an unshakable faith in a quiet warrior who would do whatever it took to bring them all home. From that day on, the SEAL team began seeing each other through new eyes. No more simple boxes. No more you're just this or you're only that. They realized every person beside them might hold skills, strengths, even brilliance they had never imagined. Sergeant Martinez summed it up perfectly during a debriefing, his voice carrying the weight of the lesson they'd learned the hard way. "We thought we knew our roles, knew our limitations. Turns out we were limiting ourselves by not recognizing the full potential of every teammate." That single shift in thinking changed everything. The team's effectiveness soared as they started cross-training in earnest, learning from each other in ways they'd never bothered with before. Ree showed them advanced first aid techniques that could mean the difference between life and death, while they sharpened her edge on updated combat tactics. They were becoming more than a team. They were becoming a force of adaptability. And then one day she was gone. No warning, no explanation. They searched every corner of the base, every place she might have gone, but found only a single piece of paper on her bunk. 4 words written in her neat, steady hand. "Live better than yesterday." That was it. No dramatic farewell, no request to remember her. Just a challenge, an instruction that hit each of them like a punch to the chest. Her absence was a hollow ache. They'd gotten used to her presence, that rare blend of someone who could save a life with gentle hands and take one with unflinching precision when there was no other choice. But it wasn't just the skills they missed. It was the quiet wisdom, the calm leadership, the way she made everyone feel that what they did mattered. Years later, new recruits to the unit would hear her story, the legend of the medic who taught. A hardened SEAL team, the real strength isn't about who can pull the trigger fastest, but about who chooses not to until the moment demands it. They learned that the deadliest warriors often carry compassion as their first weapon and violence, only as a last resort to protect others. The lesson was simple, yet unforgettable. Never underestimate anyone because of their role, their rank, or the face they show the world. Rhea's story became more than a war story. It became a truth that resonated far beyond the battlefield. A reminder that a single precise action born of skill and intent can save countless lives. And that kindness, true unselfish kindness, should be lived, not performed for recognition. In our own lives, we pass people like Reyna every day without knowing it. The quiet nurse who also happens to have advanced trauma training. The maintenance worker who risks his life as a volunteer firefighter. The office administrator who speaks 5 languages fluently, each of them carrying depths we rarely stop to see. The greatest lesson she left behind was about potential. Everyone you meet is carrying untold stories, hidden capabilities, and experiences that shape them. That friendly grocery clerk might have once worn a uniform and served in combat. That substitute teacher could have a doctorate in physics. That janitor might be penning the next great novel. True leadership, the kind re-embodied, isn't about commanding from above. It's about seeing the whole person, nurturing the parts. No one else notices. Because when you stop assuming what someone can't do and start discovering what they can, the possibilities aren't just endless. They're extraordinary.